This video is going to go over absolute value, and absolute value is going to be used in the order of operations. So the meaning of absolute value, it's a mathematical representation of a distance on a number line. So there's a few things that I'm going to highlight. You could do that in your journals as well. The symbol for absolute value are these two little sticks. And then absolute value itself is the distance from 0 on a number line. That's all it is meaning. How far is the number from 0 on the number line? So for example, on this line above, I have the number 3 marked and the number -3 marked. So we're trying to look at how many spaces away from 0 are both of them. Wow, that is so huge. Let's change that to be small. So from 0, okay, here's 0. I want to know how far is the distance both of these are going. So to get to +3, 1, 2, 3, it's 3 spaces. I don't say +3, I just say the number of spaces it is from 0. And then for -3, 1, 2, 3, it's also 3 spaces from 0. I don't say it's -3, I just say it's 3 spaces from 0. So down here at the bottom, we are going to say always, 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 always represent absolute value. If you need to think about it as a positive quantity, then do so. It will never have a negative value. The number that comes outside of absolute value will always, 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 always be a positive quantity. So here's another example, a real life one maybe. Your house is located perfectly between the library and the park. It's 5 miles to each place. So you wouldn't really say that your house is -5 miles from the library or +5 miles from the park. You would just represent that quantity by saying 5 miles. So again, in real life, here's my house. I'm pretending like that's my starting spot. I want to know how far is my house from the park. My house from the park, it's 5 miles. Or the opposite way, my house from the library, it's still 5 miles. All right, so the next page of your journal, this is where we're going to do some practice questions. And for those of you in my class, this is page 30 in our journal. We're going to take a quick look at this note up here. It says absolute value should be treated as a grouping symbol. So just like in order of operations, we're going to treat it as like a parentheses. It needs to be done first. We need to make sure we do it before everything else in the problem. And then secondly, we have to simplify the expression that's inside the absolute value brackets or sticks before we can apply the rule. Okay, simplify the expression inside the absolute value sticks or brackets, whatever you want to call it. So here's 2 examples already done. The first one, the information that's inside the absolute value sticks or brackets. So here's my absolute value sticks. I would need to do this question that's on the inside. 5 times 4. I would do that question, but I would continue to maintain these absolute value brackets around that answer and just do 5 times 4. Now, once I get this down to just this one individual value, now I apply the absolute value rules and make this number, when it comes out, I ask myself, how far is 20 away from 0? How far is 20 away from 0? It's 20 spaces away from 0. Then I can carry down all the rest of the information, and now I would just do 20 plus 3. which is 23. One that's a little bit longer. Okay, this is more of an order of operations questions that applies more things. -4, and then it's up against these absolute value sticks or brackets. Anything scooted together, that means multiply. Okay, but again, my first thing is to take care of these absolute value brackets or sticks. So I would need to solve the question of -2 squared minus 3. So -2 squared, the negative is not in a parenthesis, so I first just do 2 times 2, which is 4, and then I bring down that negative sign, and then I also bring down subtract 3. I need to again maintain those absolute value brackets or sticks. I haven't made it down to just one value yet. Now I need to solve -4 minus 3. If you're not sure, type this in your calculator. -4 minus 3, that is -7. So I would write -7 down. Then again, I continue to surround that with the absolute value sticks or brackets. Once I get this down to just one value, now I apply the absolute value rules, which say how far is -7 from 0. It's 7 spaces from 0. So now I write down a 7, and these absolute value brackets disappear. If you would like to, you could surround the 7 with parentheses because we're about to multiply, or you can just put in this little dot for multiplication. So again, the -4 just carries down, subtract 5 just carries down. Now that I'm to one value, I can continue. -4 times 7 minus 5. Multiplication comes before subtraction in order of operations, so I would do this part next. -4 times -7 is -28, and now I'm -28 minus 5. Again, if you don't know for sure what that is, type it in your calculator, and you should see -33. Okay, now let's try some on our own. Together. We are going to look at what is first inside the absolute value brackets and do that because it needs to be done first. So here's my brackets or sticks. -3 minus 4. If you're not sure what that is, type it in your calculator. It's -7. Now that I have one number or one value, I can apply the absolute value rules, which say, ask yourself, how far is -7 from 0? It's 7 units from 0, so I would just write down a 7. My absolute value brackets, now these disappear, and I just bring down the rest of the problem. So I would write -8. Then I would do 7 minus 8. If you're not sure what that is, type it in your calculator. 7 minus 8 is -1. So my final answer would be -1. So this little question in the absolute value brackets, this fraction, it's an improper fraction, or you can think about it as a division problem, but I need to do it. And then when I get my answer to it, I will again apply the absolute value rules. So 30 divided by 6 is 5. Then I'm going to keep these absolute value sticks or brackets out around it. Then I ask myself, how far is 5 from 0? It's 5 units away from 0. And the absolute value brackets disappear. There's nothing else to do, so I would just say my answer is 5. So now we have one that's a little bit longer, but we're still going to apply all the same rules. The first thing I need to do is look at what's inside the absolute value sticks and brackets and do that first. So I'm going to, put the bracket down, and then inside, since this -4 is surrounded with parentheses and then the exponent, This means negative 4 times negative 4. So I'm going to write that out. Negative 4 times negative 4. Then subtract. This 3 is not in the parentheses with the subtract sign. So this exponent just means 3 times 3. So I'm going to put that in parentheses. 3 times 3. And then I would keep my absolute value brackets. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring down this negative 8, and I'm going to bring down, add 6. Negative 8, right up next to the absolute value brackets, and plus 6. So I'm going to keep going. The next thing I need to do is negative 4 times negative 4, and then 3 times 3. Negative 4 times negative 4 is positive 16. 3 times 3 is 9. Then I can bring down the subtract sign. I'm going to bring down my absolute value brackets. And I'm also going to copy down the negative 8 and the plus 6. Still have more to do inside the absolute value bracket or sticks. It says 16 minus 9. 16 minus 9 is 7. Oops. Okay, I'm still bringing down my absolute value brackets. I'm bringing down negative 8, and I'm bringing down plus 6. Now that this amount inside my absolute value sticks is just a single number value, I ask myself, how far is 7 from 0? Positive 7 from 0. It's only 7 units away, so I would write 7. Then this negative 8 right up next to these brackets, that means multiply. So I would put negative 8 times 7 and then bring down plus 6. The next thing we would want to do is multiply comes before add in order of operations. So negative 8 times 7. Negative 8 times 7 is negative 56. And then I bring down plus 6. Negative 56 plus 6, if you're not sure what that is, type it in your calculator, but it is negative 50. And that would be my final answer.